Hello, 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 you most beautiful stars. Happy Friday. Happy cold Friday here in the Northern Hemisphere. I know everybody's feeling a bit cold. I hope the sunshine behind me can get on your beautiful face, even if it's through this lovely little internet. I see that Seeker of Truth came in. Good morning to you and Neil, Shelley. I am Courtney, host of Stars of the Morning Light, and this is a live recording. So I do say hello to those who come into the chat. I am always live on Friday mornings at 11 a.m. unless I'm traveling and or, I don't know, out of commissions for some reason. So good to see everybody. I've been talking about things for the past few weeks. I wanted to try to keep it simple, but my simple is always a little bit more intense than others. We have covered a lot of ground here, as in there's a playlist called 3D Consciousness that started in January and it's been going on through into February as to the why. Why is it so difficult to obtain higher consciousness? Why is it so difficult to stay in the frequency of compassion for self and others? Then we started moving into, especially in February, the how. Like, how do we obtain these things? Is it even feasible? Can we, ascend, as people quote unquote say? So we've been trying to cover a lot of ground as into the why. Why is it difficult in 3D? And the how now. Last week, I will say, last week's episode originally was going to be healing in the age of AI. Yet it was Valentine's Day, and I did go off on this very long tangent about St. Valentine and then bringing it into current times of Valentine's Day. The whole point of that message was really to state that since St. Valentine in 270 something and before, we've been saying a lot of the same things. All of us, including with the AI. I will do a much deeper dive into healing in the age of AI. There's now a video out, tools for 2025. Today, we're going to be talking about the power of no. N-O. Saying no. Doing no. But I'm going to have to cover why this message. And it's because of the times that we live in. Next week, I'm going to do a very deep dive into the different types of empaths. Now, the patrons of Stars of the Morning Light went through this curriculum, over a year ago now. But I decided I want to do it here because it goes in line with everything that's going on here at this channel on Fridays at 11 a.m. live. So that's why I'm going to be covering empaths, the different kind, what their talents and skills and abilities can be, how their challenges, their difficulties. That's next Friday at 11 a.m. Today, we're going to talk about the power of now. So I see that Samaritan Sun came in. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, my dear. And Poppy Poppy Blazy, who I met last week. Great young man. I see that you came in. Good to see you, my dear. 2025 is a very big year, folks, for all of us. Very, very big year. Now, please note that definitely with the Edgar Casey Life Skill Studies, soon I will definitely be covering all that he talked about the turn of the millennium, which we are in. Lots of energies begin to replay themselves every 100 years or so. It's also been recorded in his readings that is kind of the standard. It's also been recorded throughout history. We can look back as far as we can how energies kind of repeat. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to play out the same way. What I'm saying is that energies come full circle about every 100 years. And so we're in this again, kind of this spiritualist movement. We call it the awakening, the grand awakening. We call it the ascension process. Same as 100 years ago with Edgar Casey. I cover a lot of this with that material, very long, extensive playlist there. But as we're living through it, we're living in history, right? Think of the Roaring Twenties, the energy there. They were roaring in different ways, but it was also very grandiose and big and in your face. And women are now starting to wear little sexy dresses. It was extreme of the 1920s. Extreme. Our extreme of the 2020s might look a bit different, right? We've changed over 100 years. Still extreme energies. The look at me, all the words that are said over the internet, all the words for salacious propaganda, taglines, clickbait. It's just a different kind of roar. So how are we going to want to step into the 2030s? If we can remember what happened in 1930s, how are we going to want to step into the 2030s? Because I hate to tell you, folks, we're not going to be able to fight the inevitable. We're going to step into the 1930s, right? But we have way more authority over how that plays out in our life than just submitting to the energies, right? We are manifesting and creating all the time. Before I continue, I will read from the Sacred Geometry deck, the card that fell out when I was shuffling before this message. It's a beautiful, wonderful card and very apropos to the message today. Number 26, empowerment. The frequency of empowerment supports our ability to show up fully and completely, uniting us with others in the deep trust that that we all are connected through the same source. Oh my goodness, look at that card. Look at that sacred geometry, people. Empowerment. Empowerment. We are all connected to the same source. We can trust that source. We can trust one another based on that connection. Empowerment. To show up fully and completely for ourselves and others. That's a beautiful, magical card. That is the sacred geometry of empowerment. That's lovely. Absolutely lovely. So I hope this message today empowers you. I really, truly hope so. 2025. We got one beautiful thing. Well, it's actually many, but encompassing one that can make it very different if we choose. So over the past few videos, it's been a lot of talk about choice, 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 and trust, 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 because that's going to be a huge theme here at Stars of the Morning Light in 2025. One of the biggest things that is that enables us, that empowers us to maybe work with the energies in a new way opposed to 1920s or 1930s is what is going on planetarily wise. People are talking about the new age, the new grand awakening, the enlightenment, the ascension of humanity. It is truly based on what we are seeing in the stars. There are things happening that some of the stuff we've seen, every 26,000 years or every 12,000 years, but there are some things happening that has never been seen before ever. Even if it wasn't recorded, we can go back in our technology of today with astrology and know that, wow, this has never happened before. And so I want to point out to everyone throughout all ancient text, throughout all ancient monuments, um, everything that has been built. I mean, watch any video from ancient aliens, right, on TV. Everything has said, look to the stars, look to what's happening above. Even Christ himself said it, that master. Every single master said, look to the heavens, look to the stars, look to what's going on with the planets. There are things happening now that we are affected by. So just because every cycle of energy and the 3D conscious living replays itself doesn't mean that we don't have other outside influences that are helping us to change what has always been. And we can do it now. So in 2025, it is truly, so I'm going to start talking about the individual, you, me, the individuals, right? In 2025, many of us, because of what's happening as the influences above, as above, so below, as below, so above. Every time I say that, it's because I'm referencing something that applies to that. I say it a lot. Lucky Stone 888, who I will be with tomorrow night, here on this channel, Stars of the Morning Light, on Saturdays at 8 p.m. We're going to be talking about great fun time of elementals and whatnot that are out there in the world. I say it a lot, and he makes me aware of the fact of how often I say that. It's because every time I say it, what I just said can refer to it. Planets above, doing things we've never seen, creating energy frequencies that we can utilize to change down here. And the more we change down here, the more we live as if we were up there. As above, so below. As within, so without, right? Individually, in 2025, our vision of who we are, what makes our authentic self, the acceptance of who we are, what we truly want in life. And it could be to just live very simply and peacefully. Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate those who keep it simple that way. Whatever it is that we would truly like to obtain for our individual self and our maybe family units or tribe, let's say, our family, tribe, friends, what have you, individually, that scope, that full awareness of what we truly need, what we truly want to achieve in life, why we think we are here in the first place for at least this life, this body of form, this little timeline that we're living for a few 80 years, will start to come into full focus. That is a part of the energies of 2025. But yet, we've been covering for the past few weeks here, how is it so difficult in the 3D? Because that's where we pay our bills, that's where we live, that's where we go grocery shopping, that's where we drive our car, that's where we have conversations with those who are in our life that might not fully understand where we're coming from. That's where we operate. And I say operate because that's where our bodies do the deeds, clean the house, call the bill collectors, what have you, right? That's where we work. That's where we operate. So we've been trying to cover why is it so hard on the onset of our vision coming into full form. 3D, 3D living consciousness, right? Because consciousness is frequency, frequency is consciousness. 3D living experience is doing its job greatly. The only reason for 3D, everything that goes on in 3D is there as energies and pushback, polarity, because we're definitely going to talk about polarity today, to keep you from the vision that's going to be coming into full focus in 2025. To try to hold you back, entrap you, right? To keep you running in that little rabbit runner race, right? It is so hard. So we have compassion for ourselves and others. Deep compassion for ourselves and others. We've been covering a lot of this. I want to read something to you that my teacher sent. And I'll probably also end on this, but this is what I want to read right now. This is from Master Lady Kira. Beloved one, steadfast commitment, focused awareness, complete trust are the framework that will support you to move forward in alignment. Keep saying yes to you and watch your vision materialize. So I will always say that everything in 3D is designed for you to start choosing yourself. And not in some selfish, grandiose, look at me, or even, lack thereof, as we've covered a lot here recently at Stars of the Morning Light, with different thought patterns and behaviors and habits that um, do a lot of the operating for us. Everything in 3D living is designed to keep you from choosing yourself, but also designed because of the polarity. The other side of the coin is to help you witness and notice and become aware that you need to choose yourself, that you need to live that authentic life, regardless. Everything in 3D is designed that way. And I know Lucky Stone 888 and I on Saturday nights, probably mid-March or so, we'll start talking about the concept of the matrix and how that really works. I think it'll be a few episodes to put ourselves in true alignment with the energies that are available now. And Kira always puts it A-lion-meant. She always does it. She plays with words. Because the lion, the courage, the strength, the symbolism of the lion, the Leo, the sun, alignment. What am I meant to do? What am I meant to be here for? What is my vision? And that vision is going to look different for everybody. Everybody. It really, truly will. And that's beautiful. That is so beautiful. Because we are individuals here working alongside each other, bumping into each other, right? Spreading our energy the best that we can by just being authentic and present. It's going to look different for everyone. There are those out there that have skills that I do not have, and God bless them for it. I am not the best at gardening, but I know many people with great green thumbs. Thank you. I don't know much about crystals and whatnot. There are others out there that have great knowledge about that. Great, thank you. There are those who are the doctors who can do surgeries. There are those who are capable of so many great things. We need everyone. We need everyone. There is no one is better, one is worse. That is the 3D conscious living that keeps us comparing ourselves to someone else. So then we just never fully obtain that vision that is ours. That polarity of 3D, that comparison of I'm not as good as them or I am better than them. That pride that can step into the ego that says us versus them. That also can lead into spiritual egotism. It can. And that's where a lot of people are right now. Politically, spiritually, mentally, us versus them. We're right, they're wrong. On whatever side of 3D, people are experiencing that. And it's difficult to witness. It's difficult to witness this search for right and wrong. This search for saying yes to ourselves when the world is saying, no, you have to say yes to either this or that. This or that. That is the only options you really have. When we practice compassion for ourselves and others, and we can start observing ourselves in a different light and gain more awareness by doing so, we can start releasing the judgment, which is going to be the full episode after we talk about the talents and gifts and skills of all you beautiful empaths next week on Here Live, Friday at 11 a.m. The comparison and the polarities. Many people will say, as I hold my hands up, the polarity of this world. You know, they go off of the hermetic concept of polarity and rhythm, right? And how energies will have to swing from one pole to the next, from one pole to the next, right? Well, in 1920s, it was on one side. Man, they were living it up. They were living the good life. They were like, look at me. I'm going to do what I want. And that was in a lot of different regards and ways. My minor is in African American cultural studies. There was a lot going on, definitely at that time period, history-wise, here in the States and all across the board. The side was extremely grandiose. I will do whatever I want. I will, if it affects others, it affects others. I'm right. You're wrong. I will do whatever I want. Well, if you're considering hermetics, then, well, now that has to swing. And then what happened? Everybody got leveled to the same very low depression state. Because if we live in a world that I'm right, you're wrong, I'll do whatever I want, look at me, I hate you, but I don't even know you. I'm going to treat people I'm going to treat people horribly. I'm going to cram as many people into tenums as I can. I'm going to use and abuse because it's all about me, roaring 20s. Well, that pendulum's going to move. It's going to shift to the other direction. That's if you consider hermetics. So many people say the best thing to do, as my hands are a little off tilt, is to, if you have these two polar opposites, right, wrong, wrong, right, it's all the same jazz, man, that to then walk in the middle, to be in the middle of these two polar opposites, to walk that middle road. I always find that fascinating. As if that middle, you're going to find something other than. As if that middle is going to support higher consciousness thinking. That middle is actually referred to as the neutral state, right? Neutrality. Now, I am not against the middle. I love the middle. I think the middle is where a lot of people need to start. A neutral state of consciousness where you can be more of the observer. You are just observing what is happening with the different sides as you practice compassion for yourself and others. That is where everyone really needs to start, if you haven't already. Many of the students at Stars of the Morning Light on patreon.com have definitely started that long ago, and they are doing great. Neutral. I'm doing me. And if you knew of the levels of consciousness chart, the more that you are in that neutral state, practicing being the observer, practicing compassion for self and others. As my teacher, Sri Ram Ka, would always say, everything in life is an opportunity to practice compassion. If you're doing that, on the levels of frequency chart by David Hawkins, which we've covered here extensively, during that time of practicing, you're building trust because you're witnessing everyone in an observer way. You're not attached to either side. You're building trust. Now, beloveds, that is what is going on in 2025. If you're walking that middle path or not. And I'm going to step further out of the middle path in just a moment. That's going to be what's happening regardless if you're on the middle path or not. So let's say you're on one side. No, we are right. I am right. This is the way the world works. This is what's going on. This is what should be happening, and this is what I'm going to do about it. 2025 energy, because of what's going on above, pardon me, is going to present things to you socially, economically, relationshiply, um, worldly, all sorts of things. It will present to you, hmm, something that might try to knock down your pillar, try to knock you down from the side you're on. It's because the energies are trying to present you with maybe a different perspective. Because this whole polarity, the hermetic swing back and forth, hmm, I will say right now, as stars of morning light, as I have always said, I do believe people need to learn hermetics and really understand hermetics to understand how 3D consciousness living operates. But I am not a believer that hermetics is where we should stay. So, as your side gets a little bit wonky, as things are presented to you, once again, an opportunity to practice compassion for self and others. As things get a little wonky, it is solely there to present a different vision, a different perspective for you to kind of gnaw on and chew on and think about, who am I in this? And we've seen it already started with many. But the thing is this will filter into everything, not just politics, which is always the topic at hand, apparently, for the past almost a decade now. My goodness. It'll seep into everything. Your beliefs, what you do trust or thought you trust, talents and skills that are within you that you might not have experienced before will start opening up. Things will be happening to individuals. Once again, compassion to self and others. And it is all so we can remember to walk that middle road, be neutral, neutrality. And I do want to say that the um, slippery slope, a possible downside to being neutral, is the getting by aspect, kind of being that doormat for others. And that is truly the message of today, the power of no. So, if I'm throwing out there for everybody to start practicing walking that middle path, being neutral, practicing being the observer, I'm just watching. I'm watching myself, I'm watching others without any judgment, compassion for self and others. I am neutral in all things. When we can start doing that, we start developing trust, developing trust, developing trust. This is actually not happening right now. It's not happening to me. Wow, look at all that trust. Wow, if I'm neutral and I want to actually go this way, I should just trust things will follow me. Energy will help me, right? Because I'm not attached to things as I used to be. Then that leads into acceptance, forgiveness, the gateway into true empowerment. As I hold this card up again, true empowerment is full acceptance of who you are. Full acceptance of who you are. So in 2025, it's not just the vision of what am I doing? Why am I here? It's the true acceptance of who you are. Things that you do still need to heal greatly. The greatest healers had to heal greatly. All aspects of yourself will be presented. Fears, insecurities, judgments, talents, gifts, skills, love, opportunities, all within this roller coaster of 2025, a part of the roaring 20s. So the power of no. Oh my goodness. Thank you all for coming. I see that Kim came in. Have a great Friday, everybody. Enjoy the sunshine behind me if you're not receiving. Um, the power of no. I'm actually wonderful at saying no. I had to develop that skill. And I am witnessing right now, and it's interesting to witness because it shows me where people are at still. I have been watching and witnessing as an observer, right? Compassion for myself and others. So this is compassion for everyone, but a good message to put out there. I have been witnessing a lot of people leading themselves into self-sabotage, leading themselves into future resentments, leading themselves into things that they don't really accept, but yet are part of. I tried to coin a long time ago, I mean, 20 years ago now, I tried to coin the phrase reverse or false acceptance or reverse acceptance. Back when I first started healing, there was a lot of things that I had to accept, right? And there were a lot of things that I had to accept in order to heal. You can't heal anything that you're denying, right? And I learned about myself, and then I witnessed in so many others that we tend to accept things that are actually unacceptable. This goes into that codependent thought pattern and behaviors that we covered 4 weeks ago. We tend to, as humans, accept things that are unacceptable. And for various reasons. It might not even just be codependency. It might be we accept things at our job because it's what's paying the bills. I completely understand and have compassion for. We tend to accept things from maybe a spouse or a loved one that are not really acceptable, but we say it's, oh, it's just a part of their nature. I understand. Have compassion for self and others. We accept a lot of things, somewhat of a reverse acceptance. But that does not mean that we don't then have resentments. That does not mean that that energy does not produce self-sabotage. So when our eyes are opening up to who we really are as our authentic self and what the vision for our life truly is in 2025, where do we fit in the scheme of things? How do I actually obtain anchoring into the energy of fifth dimensional consciousness living and above, higher, which is definitely not that neutral path in the middle. I'm just putting that out there. It is not. All of that vision coming in, it's going to be a lot of acceptance for what it is So then either we work with it to grow more, we work with it to heal more, we work with it to change things, but we cannot deny. And one of the self-sabotaging things that I am witnessing, a lot of people do. Like a lot of people, I'm watching it unfold in front of my eyes, uh, in all sorts of groups, is we say yes to things that are not for us. We say yes a lot to theories, concepts, faiths, and beliefs that are not for us, but the status quo, right? We very much, as humans, want to be accepted, want to be seen, want to be heard. And that's beautiful. We have the right. That is a part of our birthright. But it is not for the detriment of it stepping into and wholeheartedly trying our darndest to fit into something. So I've been watching that a lot. People accepting and saying yes to thought patterns, habits, behaviors, faiths, majority rule that actually is not for them. It is not in their alignment. But we learn, right? It's a journey. But I have to put this message out there that many people are doing it. That will lead to even more fears and insecurities. That then lead to more self-sabotage. Cause and effect in the hermetic world that people live in. Also saying yes to activities, gatherings, partnerships, relationships, whatever it may be. I'm witnessing so many people saying yes, but then when you have these conversations with them or you really listen to their words because you are present for them, so be present for yourself. A lot of hesitation, a lot of, I don't want to do this, but I have to. A lot of, I'm not interested in any of this, but everybody's doing it. I'll just go along. Slippery slope of neutral, the getting by, the going along. Slippery slippery slope of also trying to be neutral. So I'm seeing people do it if they're on either side of the polarity. I'm also seeing people doing it who believe they're practicing being neutral, because neutral can be getting by. Neutral can be going with, well, I guess this group's doing that. I guess I'll go do that. I guess this is happening over here. I guess I'll go do that. In 2025, if we do not, as my beloved teacher said, focused awareness, steadfast commitment, and complete trust. Steadfast commitment is commitment to yourself. Everything in 3D conscious living that we have to operate in is designed for you to choose yourself. Steadfast commitment to self. So when they are doing something over yonder, over there, if you don't want to, say no. Power of no. Focused awareness. When that vision starts coming in of like, oh my goodness, I think I actually should be studying this. Or I think I need to learn this healing modality. Or I do need to start growing my own plants and gardening. Whatever it may be. Focused awareness. That awareness is going to come in, it's going to show you. Then focus it. Don't say yes to things that are going to get in the way of that focused awareness. Say no. When you are steadfast committed to yourself, no becomes very easy to say. No, I'm not going to drive that far. No, I'm sorry, I'm not going to meet you. No, I have things to do. No, I'm going to actually learn this healing modality over here because it's resonating with me more. No, I'm going to actually try to hang out with this person more because I feel an alignment with that person, not the people that I've always hung out with. Things are shifting, things are changing. Steadfast commitment to self. Yes, yes, yes. Focused awareness. Focused awareness has to have in 3D conscious living a no, N-O, really has to be present to stay focused. For the awareness that comes in and says, you know what? This is you. This is who you are. This is your expression, your energy. And complete trust. And it is so hard to learn the power of no as we're also trying to build trust and understand trust and experience trust. Because isn't that what we're afraid of? Rejection. Fear comes in 3 forms. And every experience is under those 3 caps. One is actual lack, either imagined or true, because all fear is either imagined or actually happening. The majority is imagined. So lack. I'm afraid I'm not going to get what I want or I'm going to lose what I have. Lack. The second is rejection, and it's actually the biggest. Rejection. Fear of rejection keeps us saying yes to things that are not for us as we are growing, expanding, gaining the awareness. Steadfast commitment, focused awareness, complete trust. Third is actual survival. Some have that. That can be a true fear, right? And all of our experiences in 3D based on fear, which is pretty much everything in 3D, go into one of those categories. So once again, I have to say, do you choose love or do you choose fear? Check in with yourself throughout the day, hand to heart, nice deep breath. Am I in love or am I in fear? And then ask yourself, as my beloved teacher, Kira Ramka, Sri Ramka, Master Lady Kira, sorry. Ooh, I added names there. They are kind of together now as one joined union. She would have us ask ourselves, what in me invites this to be? And sometimes, folks, if there's stuff going on and we are just not in alignment with it, we're not aligned with it, we're not aligned with our old friends, we're not aligned with the job, we're not aligned with the relationship, we're not aligned with stuff here on YouTube. We're not aligned with a particular teacher. We're not aligned with what have you. That is okay. Self-compassion. That is okay. changes. But as we look around and we're gaining this vision, ask ourselves, what in me invites this to be? When so much might be coming in that seems to be on different sides, different expectations, different social, different this, all of it that's got you going, whoa, where do I stand? What do I do? What in me invites this to be? And I will tell you right now, oftentimes it's for you to put your stake in the ground and say no, no to all that might be happening around you, because choosing you and designing your own way, standing in your authenticity, requires often no. No. And many people don't give themselves the permission to say no. And this is what I've been witnessing with the self-sabotaging. It's because many have not developed out of old thought patterns, habits, and behaviors of people pleasing, going with the status quo, fear of rejection, fear of lack. People have not developed yet the self trust, the complete trust, the empowerment, the authenticity of when we actually start practicing no. They don't give themselves the permission to do so. I used to have students long ago. This was uh, almost 20 years ago now. And at that time, I noticed within a lot of them, they didn't give themselves permission to treat themselves, permission to say no, permission to do as they wanted, to enjoy themselves. They didn't give themselves permission. Now, I don't know about in today's world. I don't know if the younger generations, it's the other flip side of the coin of that. I don't know. Of maybe serving themselves a bit too much. I don't know. But what I do know is at that time, at least almost 20 years ago, when I would come across this, and it would be very evident that this beloved human in front of me would not be giving themselves permission for whatever dogma, rule, expectation that had been who like infiltrated their senses, really, whatever, for whatever the reason was. I will say at that time, I would then tell them, you know what, if you need permission to do so, then I'll give you permission. Because a lot of people still, and especially back then, so if you're still living this way, if you need permission to love yourself and say no, but you seem to not be able to find it within yourself right now, then I give you permission. Fine, cool. I'll give you that permission because then if you start to practice it and get to experience it, which also helps you to experience your worth more. The more you experience it, the more then you'll start giving yourself permission. So if you need permission to do so, I'm here. I give you permission. I can be that outside influence that gives you permission to say no and choose yourself and love yourself and have compassion. That's groovy because I do know then when you experience it, you're not going to want to let go of it. You're going to give yourself that permission over and over again to love yourself, heal yourself. Take care of yourself. Say no. And of course, this is all about boundaries. The energy of 2025, along with all of that awareness of who you are in your beautiful star, authentic, shining light, will be coming through. And how you really feel about things will be coming through. And it will possibly not align with other people. That's okay. That's okay. That's where boundaries come into play. But we can't even establish boundaries if we haven't practiced saying no. We cannot establish boundaries if we don't know how to say no, or we don't give ourselves the permission of no. So, beloveds, it's up to you. It's up to you. All is choice. Am I in love or am I in fear? Do I give myself permission or do I not? Do I continue to say yes even though I'm against it? I'm not aligned with it anymore? Or do I start saying no and get to experience the empowerment as I hold this card back up, the empowerment that can happen with just a 2-letter word, N-O. I'll read this frequency one more time. Empowerment. The frequency of empowerment supports our ability to show up fully and completely, uniting us with others in the deep trust that we all are connected through the same source. Because we're all connected through the same source, you have the permission. You have the ability. There will be a lot of changes and focused awareness that comes in. I see that Jackie J came in. Good to see you, my dear. Happy Friday. I'm going to read this one last time. This is from my teacher down in Ecuador, beloved Master Lady Kira. Beloved one, steadfast commitment, focused awareness, and complete trust are the framework that will support you to move forward in alignment. Keep saying yes to you and watch your vision materialize. And if you don't know Master Lady Kira, she does have a YouTube channel here. It is official Shri and Kira. Official Shri, capital S-R-I, the word and Kira, K-I-R-A. Those are my teachers. Shri passed away last January of 2024. But they are definitely a union of energy. Take that in again, folks. It is time that your middle path, if you're not on it yet, please start walking the middle path as a neutral, not attached observer, practicing compassion for self and others. There's been a ton of videos here at Stars of the Morning Light on that. Please practice that. And as all the visions that are aligned with you or what is not aligned with you alignment start funneling in all of 2025. I'm telling you guys, when we start getting closer to the spring equinox, it's it's going to be happening back and forth nonstop. What do I believe? What am I? What's going on? Breathe. Trust. I am neutral. I am observing. I am compassion. I have full acceptance of it is in this moment. I believe. I am aware. I hope you all can still hear me. So as that is happening, steadfast commitment to self, focused awareness. It's just going to take you saying no sometimes. And complete trust. That lines up with our beautiful empowerment card. Keep saying yes to you and watch your vision materialize. Beloved, stay here or stay tuned to Stars of the Morning Light. If you're new here, please hit the thumbs up for me. Leave a comment below. Next Friday, I am going to be explaining the different kind of empaths, from some of their struggles to their gifts, talents, and skills. Like I said, the patrons of Stars of the Morning Light have they went through that curriculum like a year ago. I think it's time for everybody to receive it. Consider joining, being a patron of Stars of the Morning Light. It helps out to support this channel, but I also teach there twice a month. So even if you join for $5 monthly subscription, it's a wonderful community that help each other manifest weekly, and great information. So consider, the link is in the description to join us at Patreon Stars of the Morning Light. Next Friday, all about the empaths. So this week, practice saying no. Practice that deep breath and go, do I really want to do that? Do I really want to say yes to this? Do I really want to eat that for dinner? Even though everybody sitting around me is eating that? No, no, no. And trust that your true, authentic self, that is greatly loved by Source, is waiting for you. Is waiting for you to walk from that middle path upward and onward, upward and onward, upward and onward, into fifth dimensional conscious living, seventh dimensional master conscious living. It's waiting for you. I love you all. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Practice. And if you need permission, I got you. I give you permission. Go play, go have fun, get some sun on your face. Please, beloveds, get some sun on your face. And we'll be together again next Friday for all the deep dive into the different empaths. And definitely stay tuned Saturday night here at Stars of the Morning Light. Tomorrow on February 22nd for Lucky Stone 888 and I will be discussing personal stories of all the different little characters you can meet out there walking in the woods. Bye, everyone. Cheers.